What's going on, boys? So, Merry Christmas, first of all. Today's the 24th. We're headed down to see my parents. It's about a 3-hour drive, so it's not too bad. I'm actually quite impressed with the amount of cars that are out on the road right now. It's usually I go down on the 24th, but there's quite a few today, so it is what it is, I guess. I'm supposed to be meeting them up for lunch, so that should be fun. Having some tacos. Believe it or not, I'm actually Hispanic. Most people don't believe that. They're like, oh, you're a gringo. Okay, yeah, alright. But it's true. Might have to put my sunglasses on, man. Like, it was raining like back there, and all of a sudden it's like all sunny and like bright. But of course I forgot my aviators. That's just the way it goes. So guess what we're stuck with? The safety glasses. Now, this is an interesting story, actually. Like, I had these because there was a guy in college who would ride around on his bike going from class to class, and I asked him, I was like, how do you get, because they're like really blacked out, like most sunglasses are not like this dark, and he's like, oh yeah, they're just 3M safety glasses, and they're actually really cool because when you're riding your bike, they're so like big that the wind like goes around your eye, so it's like it doesn't like get in your eye, and like if you're like prone to allergies, it's not gonna like irritate you as much. So I thought that was kind of a cool benefit there. Problem is because they're plastic, they like scratch all the time. But anyway, we're headed down to see my parents, and every time I come down here, it's like reminds me of my old, friends and just the memories, I guess, of like growing up with Christmas and all that kind of stuff. And just how naive I was to a lot of stuff in life. And that's okay, because, I had parents that wanted to shelter me a lot. And, maybe you're the same. But it's okay, because eventually you learn and you grow. But, for me, when I was growing up in, like, elementary school, I had quite a few friends. I was definitely the ladies' boy. Like, while all my friends are out playing on the playground, I'm, like, just chilling with one of the girls on the playscape. We're just hanging out, and then I was a very outgoing person, and I think that changed a little bit in middle school when I started getting really bullied. And I can't tell if they were like bullying me because they actually liked me, or if they were bullying me because they actually like didn't like me. I'm not sure. But growing up in elementary school, I was definitely more extroverted type of guy. Spin the bottle game, with all kinds of stuff in the cafeteria. Kind of like being the center of attention. I remember in kindergarten, like, there was this blonde girl. Like, we were kids, like kindergarten. She would just like lay on my lap, at like lunch. And so like I always wanted to be the line leader. I always wanted to be the best. Like that's the essence of who I was, and still am to this day. But I feel like I lost it somewhere. So we're going to go through that a little bit here, so I can maybe even find out for myself where it came from. But, then growing up through middle school, I feel like that puberty phase really kind of like took a toll on me, because I was probably like a straight 1, man. Like 1 out of 10. Like I had braces, my hair was like down here, like with bangs. It was like super puffy. It was not like the best look. I always had like my shirt tucked in with like a belt and like cargo shorts, and just my style was not right, and so of course I was made fun of. Look at this guy with his white socks. Like I literally remember being in band, and I always wanted to play the trumpet. So, and there was a guy next to me who was more of like the bad boy type, and like he just like rubbed his valve oil on my on my sock. I'm just like, what is this? And I remember getting into a fight with that guy, and I usually am not the kind to like do that kind of stuff, but it was like really irritating me. And I guess in middle school is where it really just kind of hit with the puberty thing, and like, who are you? Everyone's going through that identity crisis as a kid, as to like, who am I? And for me, it was like I wanted to do the best I could in class and go from there. But it was like this weird thing where like the popular girls, like the cheerleaders and stuff, would always like make fun of me and pick on me and things. so it kind of like eroded some of my confidence I originally had back in like, elementary school. And so, you know, even to this day, like, I remember like making a kite, like of all things, like in 7th grade, and I put like, it was our state test. I like put that on the kite because I don't know what to put on the kite, and they're like, you put that on there, and they're like making fun of me and stuff, and it was like an actual like bullying type making fun of, not like, hey, I'm flirting with you, like kind of making fun of, you know what I mean? And so it was kind of frustrating, and even to this day, bro, like it still gets me, and it's kind of unfortunate because I think that's maybe some of my trauma, right? So we all have a little bit of trauma, right? But for me, it was like getting bullied by girls, and you know, it's hard for me. It's not really hard for me to put this out there for you guys because you guys need to know who I am and where I came from. But yeah, that was like all in like 7th and 8th grade. I remember girls looking at me like weird, like the hot ones, you know, the ones that you wish you had. And then by the time 9th grade rolled around, you know, it was like, okay, I guess it's important to mention that like my parents were super strict to the fact that we couldn't go out and just like have a good time. If, you know what I mean? Like we couldn't just go over to friends' houses. They'd be out, you know, running around with their car, wondering where we were, whistling, blowing the horn, like, dang. And so I think that's where I learned some of those good habits of get your work done first and then go have fun and play. Because if you don't do it in that order, then all of a sudden you're going to end up procrastinating, and you're going to have that habit pattern of not wanting to do the work that needs to be done, but you want to have your cake and eat it too first, right? So you want to have your dessert first instead of trying to get the entree completed first. So that was a big thing for me. So let's see, moving through middle school, let's see, by the time 8th grade, you know, I was doing pretty good in competitions. I was very competitive for the trumpet. Like I was making all state, all region, all the stuff. You know, one of the top players there. And looking back on it, like band is kind of nerdy, but yeah, I was a nerd. You know, I enjoyed it. It was something that was my outlet from, I guess, life, right? Then we moved on to high school, where I was really torn down, bro. Like, there were teachers, like my band teachers, for example, that would come in and be like, you need to take more risks. You're way too shy. You're way too much of a nice guy, basically. And I was like, whoa. I remember that being like sophomore year, that they were really trying to push me. And I think it was more of like they were trying to mold me into a new person so that I could become their best player by the time I was a senior, and that's exactly what ended up happening. But, you know, at the time, like, you don't really notice. Oh, we got a police officer up here. State trooper. You know, and, you know, we're trying to become the best versions we can right now here in this channel, obviously. And so even then it was like, I don't know if I want to be like, I didn't know if I wanted to like stand out, you know, after all of what had happened to me throughout middle school, just like being bullied all the time and just honestly just getting embarrassed all the time. Like I remember trying out for a solo one time, and it was just like, oh, you're gonna, you know, try to be like a soloist? And I remember I didn't get it because I was not in their office like 24/7. I'm like, knock yourself out, bro. If you want to go and like suck up to these guys, go ahead. But I'm not gonna like be there doing all that. And so I started like adopting the mindset of I don't really care. You know, I attempted to be one of their leaders, and they didn't want me for whatever reason. And so the next year I didn't apply, and they were like upset at me because I didn't apply. I'm like, yeah, I don't care. If you didn't want me the first time and you gave me no feedback, what makes you think I want to do this again? and I really didn't care to. It was just one of their things. I remember I would call people out too, and they didn't like that, because I'm a real person, bro. Like, I'm gonna make good leaders and good disciplined men in my squadron. And so I guess they didn't agree with that or whatever. I don't know. Too soft. Also in high school, I did computer science. I remember I got accused of cheating because I got one of the top scores, and they didn't think that was possible from me. And it's like, guys, I can't win. You know, it's like, you try to do good, and then all of a sudden you can't because, you know, you did too good. You know, you got above 100. Like, okay. Should I get like a 50? Is that better? I mean, what? Am I supposed to be average? That kind of stuff like irritated me a little bit in high school. And I never really felt like I just had a group. Like, sure, I was in band and stuff, and we had our friend groups. But even to this day, bro, like, I don't really even speak to those people. Like, we all have our own lives. And that's one of the big things I try to get across to people is, like, people come and go, you know, and it's unfortunate, but I think that's just the way life is. That relationships don't always last. It'd be nice if they lasted for an eternity, and those are rare, the ones that do last. But overall, you just gotta be good with taking the loss and meeting new people and keep moving forward, you know. So this is cool. They like repaved this entire road. I haven't been down this way in a while. It's been like over a month. Last time I was down here was Thanksgiving. So, let's see. What else? I was in the Reserve Officer Training Corps. Okay, I was in the Air Force, ROTC in high school. I was a squadron commander. And so basically I was in charge of, I wasn't the full like flight commander, but I was the squadron commander. So I was in charge of the guys that were in the squadron there. Wore the uniform, you know, had my hair cut, learned what it was like to be a leader. And, you know, I think that really pushed me as well. And, you know, I'd go to class like wearing the Air Force uniform, and I don't know, it was something about it, you know. And I really want to do that again, and that's why I'm trying to, if you don't know, I'm trying to like join the Air Force to fly C-130s right now. Now, it'd be cool to fly fighters, but one, I think I'm too old for that, and I can't really handle too many roller coasters at once, so I think I'm prone to G-lock, so physiological events, and that's not good. But also, it's not as easy as, oh, well, just sign me up to fly fighters. It doesn't work like that, because you gotta like go and rush these units, and then you gotta do interviews and all this other stuff, and they take like one guy out of 500. It's like, what is that, bro? It's like, it's not even worth, the juice isn't worth the squeeze on that. So, I don't know. We'll have to see. I even applied to the F-35 unit and like literally heard nothing, and I had perfect scores. So it's just wherever God wants me, you know what I mean? So but yeah, man, every time I come down here, it's thinking about the high school memories, and it was great and everything, and people that still live here, that's cool. But for me, it was time to move on, you know. It's time to grow up a little bit, to venture out on my own. I've been gone for over 10 years now. Not forever, but like, I've been on my own for 10 years. I could not wait to leave. And it wasn't that like I didn't like my parents, or I didn't want the shelter of that, or, you know, because some people want to live at home, and that's fine. And you live at home, and you can save a lot of money, and you can go to college, community college, or whatnot, and that's awesome. And you know, if you're tight on money, please do that. You're going to save a bunch of money and time. My brother did that for 2 years, and he's in a lot better spot for that. But if you're just living at home because you just want to live at home, and you have no ambitions, it's not a good thing. And your parents should be pushing you to get out. In fact, they should probably be kicking you out, because then you're going to learn how to fly on the way down. It's just the way I see it. Maybe I get some of this from my grandfather, who was a Marine, but I don't know. Anyway, boys, this video's getting a little long, but yeah, hope you guys have a good Christmas, and talk to you in the next one. In a world full of fakeness and deception, keep dominating your reality. So I'll see you in the next one.